Welcome to Module 2 of Learning to Improvise. And this week we're going to take what we learned in Module 1, which was D major scale, and we're going to use that to start doing some actual improvising. So we've already learned the D major scale in Module 1, and we know that inside out, don't we? So how can we improvise with that? To start with, I'm going to improvise without any music and just come up with a few ideas of what you do with that. Essentially, start off by playing the scale a few times. Once you're improvising regularly, you won't need to do this. But when you're new to it, just getting that scale cemented under your fingers again before you start is going to really help you to, again, play right notes more than wrong notes and embed playing good notes and right notes into your muscle memory, into your mind, rather than making lots of mistakes. So let's start with that. So if you do that just a few times, you're going to have those notes under your fingers and you're going to be able to start just making up stuff using those notes, but not necessarily in a scale sort of a way. So you could start with some scale notes. You could start playing something like I don't know what notes I played particularly. I started on the bottom D, I played up a few notes, down a few notes, and then jumped up an interval. I didn't think about it. And that's part of the beauty of improvising, is the less you think, the more you can flow. The more you're having to think about, oh, I need to play an A here, I need to play a C sharp there, I need to play a B now, the less you're going to be able to flow and just be creative and let your mind compose music on the fly. If you were going to sing an improvisation, you wouldn't even care what key it was in, let alone what notes you were playing. You'd simply be able to sing ba beep ba doo ba ba da doo da. I don't know what I just sang, but I improvised it. And it's the same on the horn, in that you haven't got the same connection with the horn as you do with your voice. Unless you're very, very lucky, or unless you've played an awful lot for years and really developed that connection with the horn, so that you can instinctively think of a note and go straight to it. If you've got that, you're going to find this way easier than I do. But if you've got the notes under your fingers, you might just think, I want to go up and I want to go up a big jump, so I'll just jump up to this note. And 9 times out of 10 it'll sound great. Let's just try improvising. I'll just try something else. Now, that wasn't particularly jazzy, but it was all notes of D major, it all made sense, and it was completely improvised. I don't know what I played, I've never played it before. So, your next task is to first of all start noodling in those notes. But try and noodle with some kind of intent. Try and make it make sense. Don't just aimlessly ramble on for 3 minutes of noodling. Try and make it phrases, short phrases. So, so that was 4 phrases. I didn't leave a big gap between them, but they were defined phrases, and I finished the last one on the root note, which kind of resolved the whole thing and made it sound like they all fitted together and made sense. At least I hope that's the way it sounded. I'll find out when I play this back. Essentially, if you end a little phrase and it's not on the root note, it will sound a little bit like it's unfinished. There'll be that bit of tension, that lack of resolution, that, oh, there's something more to come. Sometimes people talk about question and answer phrasing. So a question doesn't end on the root. It ends on another note and you're left hanging wondering what's coming next. If you end on the root, it resolves the whole thing and says, that's the answer, it's finished now. Let's try it again. Question. Another question. Another question. And there I finish on the root, and it says that's the end of a section, or the end of the tune, or whatever. But it's resolved. So those things are worth bearing in mind. I don't want you to get hung up on those yet, but keep your phrases shortish. A couple of bars per phrase is fine. Once you get really good, maybe you can play really long phrases, but when you're learning, a really long phrase gets really boring fast for the listener. It just sounds like you're rambling. So keep your phrases short. Try and let your ear develop so that you hear when to finish on the root. I mean, you'll have a sense of, oh, if I'll go to the root now and it'll tidy this up and finish. There's a lot to take on board there. Just start with noodling around in the notes, and then start to, once you've got the hang of that, and you'll feel it coming, you'll feel when you're starting to get a grip of that, then perhaps it's time to start saying, well, let's turn this into some sort of phrases that make some sense. Okay, I think that's enough to be going on with for the first half of this module. In the second half of the module, we'll do the same thing, but over a backing track. But I want you to start without the backing track, with the freedom to just noodle on your own and start applying that scale. So you're not playing in a scalar way up and down, unless you particularly want to, you can. But you also want to be able to leap around semi-randomly. Random's not the right word, because of course your ear will, as you develop, and this won't come instantly, your ear will start to sense where to go next. You won't have to think about it, probably, hopefully, but your ear will sense, I want to go up now, I want to go up by 3 or 4 notes, and you'll be able to go to a note and it will sound good. Just trust me on that. It will come, it will take time. Just do it every day and it will develop. Okay, good luck.